Hello, everyone. I wanted to do a video because I get asked a lot about how my husband deals with what it is I do, how my daughter Emily deals with what it is I do. So I wanted to interview them separately just to get their take, what it's like from the other person's perspective, just to help others. Maybe you can show your kids or significant others, that type of thing, to be able to assist with this journey. Because with spirituality, it's not just, I don't leave the house at 9 and come back at 5. It is just like religion is. It's a journey. It's something that is with me from the moment I get up and all through the night. So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Emily.
Hello.
So, I wanted to, what was your reaction when I first opened up?
Wow. My reaction. Originally, I personally always struggled with what exactly I believed in. I knew that there was something, but I never knew what. So for somebody who doesn't really believe in much of anything, and having their mom come and be like, yeah, so I do this, you're like, oh, okay. Like, whoa, that's a lot to take in. But regardless of me not being fully on board right from the get-go, doesn't mean that I can't support my mom, somebody close to me. That's like the number one thing, is that you'd still support one another.
Yeah. Sure, I would.
Yeah.
Sure. No, that was huge, because I was really nervous to say what it was I was experiencing and going through, and who I was communicating with. So with mediumship, with these guides that are coming forward, and no, it was definitely a scary thing for me, but I knew it was something I had to do, because we're a fun family. We're around each other all the time, and we communicate really well with everything. Emily coming home from school and always telling us about her day, everything else, and Ray discussing his day, discussing work, all of that. So we're such an open family that I couldn't keep it from them. So I think it was only a few months that I didn't say anything as I was absorbing all the information, and then started coming out. But I thought it was really interesting how, when I opened up to Emily and I said, you form your own opinion. These are my experiences. So you form your own opinion and have your own experiences should you choose to do that. But the fun thing was when I started talking about the galactics, one of the galactics, they're called Pleiadians. There are 3 of them that work with me and come forward, and they stand in different areas of the house, and they help to cleanse the energy. And there was one that was in the hallway right by Emily's room, and she could feel the energy. So she was like, wait, where are they again? And I was explaining it to her. So she can pick up on the energy, as does my husband Ray, when spirit or ghosts, we know them as ghosts, walk by, and he'll get the chills. And the man never gets the chills. He's always hot. So it's amazing to see them react to things that I'm picking up in the spirit realm. So let's see, what was the other question? How has spirituality helped you? Words,
Are hard.
Are hard.
Words are hard. It's been crazy helpful. So for those of you who don't know, this is my first year in college. Yay! But I'm majoring in music education, so I want to be a music teacher, and I've wanted to do this for a while. And so being a teacher, that's one thing, but especially going into a music career, you really have to be in touch with yourself in order to be successful, in my opinion. And I never really was, that's why music was always so big for me. Words are hard, so it was difficult for me. It was difficult for me to connect with myself. But to take that one step further, the introduction to all the spirituality stuff, that it was huge. I mean, it was groundbreaking for me, whoa. Mm-hmm. It really opened my eyes to everything. from understanding that I can make time for myself and that's not selfish. In my opinion now, that's more of a selfless act, is making time for yourself, because if you don't make time for yourself, then you can't make time for anybody else. You can't do anything for anybody else. So that's very important. And yeah, just thinking from your heart.
So smart. Look at you. No, I think that's the biggest thing, because self-development and spirituality to me go hand in hand. So when I started this journey, for those of you that don't know, I have a severe heart problem. I've had several surgeries, which then caused a nervous system disorder. So I deal with these episodes every day, every night, all the time. The severity depends on each second, really. So sometimes I'm bedridden, sometimes I can just sit here and be okay and deal with it. But with that comes, I was very anxious. There was a depression. I didn't feel like me. And when I had my awakening, this was a huge catapult in loving myself and accepting myself and realizing this isn't a curse, this is a blessing, and I can use this to show others that they can lead their best life regardless of circumstance. So in talking with Emily, I was able to work through different feelings, like the shadow aspects of herself, like feeling of not being good enough, or anxiety. That's like a big, fat, huge thing. I mean, starting school and graduation in the midst of a pandemic. Hello. I mean, so rock star right here for going through all of that, being a senior, having to graduate through all of that, having her 18th birthday in April when all of this was beginning. So a lot of anxiety and all that kind of stuff came up with it. So, and you handled it really well, because we would just sit and talk about just personal stuff, personal growth, and how to ask your guides. I had given you a pendulum that you can ask questions and get the yes and no and all of that, because it's a not only opinion from myself, but Emily learning to trust herself, I don't want to say not having to come to her parents all the time, because we're lovingly always here for you, but knowing that Emily has the wisdom within herself to receive the answers, and then be able to say, hey, I tapped in to my intuition, and this is what I got, or this is what I felt. And it was, I was able to validate it and checking in with her guides and everything else. And it was just it's so amazing. So, I mean, growing up, I was raised Catholic. And I know I was in religion class, and I really had to study. There were things that I understood and that meant things to me, but other things it just didn't seem right to me. So, finding, I just call it spirituality. It's like, it was a major awakening for me, being able to connect with Mother Mary, with Jesus, with God, or source, or, there are all of these beautiful beings on the other side and loved ones on the other side. It was just amazing and just groundbreaking, eye-opening to me, and grateful to be able to share that with my family, with Emily. So she has these tools and this connection where you may be alone, when she eventually moves out, but she is never alone. So teaching that connection, if you want to use it, because I think that's the thing too. You're not forcing anything on anyone. It's if you would like to use that or not. So, but we also had fun with like moon rituals and things like that. So when you're manifesting or things that you want to release, being able to write it down, because the parts of yourself that maybe you don't like, or you don't want to, a lot of people don't want to look at that aspect of themselves, but being able to actually write it down and look at it and say, I release this, I forgive myself, I allow myself to let this go, because we hold on to so much, which can cause anxiety. So, but the moon rituals were always fun.
Well, the big thing with the moon rituals is it's really nice to be able to write stuff down, so that way, like, you're visual. I'm a very visual person and a very visual learner. So being able to just write it down, like, what am I releasing? Like, oh, I can just get it out. Just goodbye.
Yeah.
And then, what do I want in my life? That sort of thing. it really causes you to dig deep and like think about yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jinx.
No, no, that's really true. And Emily is very clairvoyant. So like when I say, I could never see, like if I said to Emily, could you see like a juicy red apple in your mind's eye, when I first came out spiritually to her and I was explaining things, because all of my psychic gifts opened up all at once. So the hearing, seeing, knowing, and feeling were like, wha-bam, in my face there. And I never knew one could see like that in their mind's eye. And Emily's like, yeah, I can picture all of us at Thanksgiving sitting around a table, and I can see all their faces, and I mean, do math problems. My husband Ray is very clairvoyant as well and does math problems in his head, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so cheating. But you're very clairsentient, so you're such a feeler, which in turn can cause anxiety.
Can cause a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
See, that's the other thing, is that I've always struggled with anxiety with just different things. I've had, like in school, I've had a lot of test anxiety, and it's really held me back. But having this introduced to me, I'm not saying I'm by any means perfect at all of this. I still have to deal with a lot of that. But this has definitely helped me put my foot in the right direction. You know, I feel more comfortable, and
yeah, being able to work through it, having the tools that you need to be able to work through it. And then when something else arises and maybe you need a little bit more help, that's when you come to me and say, okay, I've been trying this, and what else? That's normally when we do a reading and tap into the guides and see what they have to say, that type of thing. So, but it's been an awesome journey, because I've been doing this for like 4.5 years or so. So I mean, you're 18 now, but at least to have that through high school, you know, when it's like really that time, that anxiety. But what I've learned as well is that things that I dealt with, bullying and self-acceptance, which we can all deal with that, of course, but you tend to take on the lessons or the shadow aspects of your parents. So it's important to clear that. You can clear that yourself, or, you know, with Reiki it can be cleared. But I've done a clearing for Emily, and also assisting her to work through all of the aspects that she deals with as well. But anything else you wanted to add? Makes life interesting.
no.
That's for sure. It's just more of an open conversation. You know, we were close to begin with, and Emily would always, you know, like I said, talk to us after school, and we knew everything that was going on, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think it just helped us grow closer as a family, because, you know, you're really having these in-depth, deep conversations, which when you're into the spiritual stuff, that's really what you want, are those like really deep soul connecting conversations, which we have often.
Yeah,
We do.
it's pretty nice.
So thank you, Emily, for coming on and sharing your insight and your experiences and all that good stuff.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. If you have any questions for Emily, I'm sure she wouldn't mind answering them. So
Yeah.
please let us know, and I will pop on again with my husband, Ray. Thank you so much. Bye for
Bye.
now.